Well, blessed be the name of the Lord. Thank God He's given us, life. He's given us food. It's great. Everyone loves to eat, enjoy a wonderful meal, especially with friends or in a group setting, in a restaurant, wherever it is, we love to eat. But we've got to be wise in terms of what we're putting into our bodies. Make sure you're eating a healthy diet. He says food will not commend us to God. We're not closer to God if we do or we don't. And so thank God for that. And He's got wonderful vegetables and fruits that we can enjoy. But Paul now is going on. He says, take care that this right of yours does not somehow become a stumbling block to the weak. That this right of yours to eat the meat that may be offered to idols, it doesn't become a stumbling block to the weak, because there may be other believers now when they see you eating that. He goes on in verse 10, he says, if anyone sees you who have knowledge eating in an idol's temple. And in another chapter he says we shouldn't do that. If anyone, but he's trying to provide a basis here that we should not live based upon just our rights. We must be thinking about other believers. If anyone sees you who have knowledge eating in an idol's temple, let's say you're invited to a meal in the temple, he says, will he not be encouraged? And if his conscience is weak, to eat food offered to idols, and he's eating that and he's going to feel convicted. He says, and so by your knowledge pops up, but love builds up. This weak person is destroyed. You have this knowledge, you're eating this food, and you're thinking, okay, well, yes, it was offered to an idol, but there is no idol, there's no God like that, and so it's of no consequence to me. But the other person who sees you eating that, he's thinking, okay, well, you are eating food offered to an idol, and his conscience, he's being convicted. And this is a brother for whom Christ died, telling us that the way we live our lives, we've got to think about the way our actions and our lifestyle is impacting the life of another brother. He said, thus sinning against your brother and wounding their conscience when it is weak, you sin against Christ. God is a good God. God is so great. And he's telling us that, well, you shouldn't just be living for yourself and say, well, it's my life, it's my right, I can do whatever I want to do. That's very selfish. He's saying that you've got to think about your brother. He said, if you wound their conscience, you sin, you're doing something that hurts that believer and kind of drives a stumbling block or a wedge between them and God. He says, you are sinning against Christ. You are sinning against Christ. So we've got to be careful the way we're living our lives, what impact that has on us, and make sure you're not doing something that is causing another believer to be affected in the faith. Now, we got to be careful that we don't drive that to any kind of extreme limits that, well, you're thinking, well, if someone comes and tell you, well, that thing that you're doing, well, it's affecting me, and then we kind of take it to some extremes. So we've got to be careful. But there's some issues that are definitely worth us looking into and modifying our lives so that it does not hurt other believers.